With the release of Suspiria this weekend, I thought I'd go back and review the original Suspiria, which was released in 1977 and directed by Dario Argento. The story is simple. It's about Susie, an American girl who travels to Germany to learn ballet at a prestigious dance school. But when she gets there, all is not as it seems. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, I expected this movie to be good, just based on like the cult following it has, but I did not expect to love it as much as I did. Let's start off with the pros. This movie has got every type of horror aspect to it. It's got murderers, it's got supernatural elements, it's got creepy creatures, it's got gore, it's got disgustingness, zombies, witches, and the main character discovering a sinister plot. And guys, it's got loads of suspense. It's got something for every type of horror fan. The music is easily one of the best horror scores I've ever heard. I'd place it up there with Psycho and Halloween. It's just not as catchy, which is probably why it's not so easily recognizable as the other two. It's a suspenseful, chaotic mix of what I can best describe as Australian Christmas music mixed with heavy metal and weird screams. You really just need to hear it for yourself. The beginning wastes no time thrusting the viewer into this messed up world Argento created. The first 10 minutes might seem random to a first-time viewer, but trust me, they are integral to making this entire film work. Because of what the first 10 minutes of the film sets up, the end of the film is intensified to a whole new level, just because the viewer has information they wouldn't have had without the opening. The film is visually comparable to The Shining. It's possibly the most beautiful horror film you'll ever see. I'd probably tie it with The Shining. And when you're tied with a Kubrick film for beauty, you know you're doing something right. The use of color is stellar. It's what really gives this movie so much life, and it enraptures the viewer, and it intensifies the horror in every scene. Try watching this movie and imagine it without its distinct use of color, and you'll see that a lot of the intensity is lost. So they used color in a very effective way. The camera use is also very effective. There are a few scenes with high camera angles with the camera looking down onto the characters. It makes the viewer feel as though there's some kind of sinister force watching them with the horror theme playing in the background. The use of the camera is just genius. At the end of the film, the camera tracks Susie as she's walking down these really creepy hallways, but it keeps her at the very edge of the frame, refusing to let the viewer see what's just ahead. It just builds the suspense so much. This movie was also super influential. You can just see it in the DNA of a lot of modern horror movies. Specifically in Mandy, I noticed that the director of that movie must have taken lots of notes from Suspiria. Its style is extremely similar, with its uses of color and music being the driving forces of the film. There is also some great acting from the lead, Jessica Harper. It has a running time of only about an hour and a half, and it wastes none of that time. Every single scene is used so effectively and is so important to the movie. They don't use a lot of time on character development, but it was fine. We didn't really need that. We got a little bit of it, and that's all we needed. The driving forces of this movie are the mystery behind it, the use of color, the use of lighting, and that was definitely sufficient. We didn't need to spend a ton of time developing Susie's character. We got just enough of it. I will also say, in about the middle of the movie, I was getting a little frustrated at the mystery. The movie was giving us nothing but just more questions, and I was like, when are we going to find out what's going on? But don't worry. Don't you worry. The movie delivers at the end. You do eventually figure out what's going on, and you'll see that everything leading up to that point was just to build so much suspense. The only real issue I have with the movie is that some of the actors' voices were dubbed onto the characters a little weird. Their mouths don't match their voices, and I don't really know why they couldn't have corrected that. But that was about it. This movie is great. This is one of my favorite horror movies now. I really did not expect this movie to blow me away the way it did. Also, I do want to say, even though this movie does follow very familiar plot lines that other movies do, you never really fully expect what is going to happen in the next scene. You never really know exactly what this movie is going to give you. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. I'm going to give Suspiria a 9.5 out of 10. Guys, please, I beg of you, give this movie a chance. Please check this out when you get a chance to. Well, guys, let me know what you thought of Suspiria in the comments below, both the original and the new one. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you for my next review.